Hi, my name is Dr. Jennifer Penrose, and I'm going to go over the program that we have for joint health and inflammation. So I'm going to share my screen here so that you can see the PowerPoint slides as I go through them. Okay, so our 8-week hybrid program is called Eat for Joint Health and Inflammation, and it's powered by TLS, which is Transitions Lifestyle Systems. So that is a program that we've been using in our clinic since 2020, and it's had great success. So I will highlight that and what is all involved. So just some disclaimers. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. And individuals following the TLS program as part of a healthy diet and exercise program can expect to lose 1 to 2 pounds per week. Consult your healthcare provider before starting any supplements, weight management, or exercise program. So what makes TLS so special? So there is no calorie counting and or deprivation, I guess I would say. You're not trying to restrict calories. You're eating real food, no prepackaged, no processed foods. Multiple ways for this to get a personalized solution for your goals, budget, personality, and commitment level. So TLS really can work with a lot of different people. I mean, we've worked with vegans, vegetarians, people who want to do a little bit of intermittent fasting. So definitely workable for those different approaches, and it's affordable. If you tried to have one-on-one wellness coaching for 8 weeks, it would be thousands of dollars. So it is a very affordable price because we deliver most of the content through an online course. So we send you a weekly email on a topic that will only take you, maybe a 15-minute video and maybe 5 minutes of reading some bullet points and maybe a couple pages in your health journal to read. And that's per week. So it's very, very reasonable for busy lives. If I can run a business and I have 3 boys, married and kids, and go do other things as well, you can fit it into the busy life. It just takes a little planning. It's a very comprehensive 4-pronged approach. So, and I'll kind of talk about those 4 components. The first component, it's a low glycemic impact eating program. So what does that really mean? You are keeping your blood glucose stable and you stay in a fat burning zone when you do that. So that's kind of what that graph, it's not very clear down below, the green and the red and the green. So the green is showing blood sugar staying stable, but a lot of times what many people are doing is they'll eat something that really pings their blood glucose up high in the red zone, and then they won't eat for hours and hours. And so then you dip down really, really low, or you'll crash after certain kinds of foods, fast foods, pastas, bagels, those kinds of things. So you kind of have a being in the red zones, whether it's high or it's really low, alerts your body to go into fat storage mode. So that's why you want to stay in the green zone, is stay with your blood glucose stable. So this whole program, the whole time you're eating it, you are eating to stabilize your blood glucose, which keeps you in fat burning mode and avoiding extra fat storage. It's also anti-inflammatory the way this program has you eat, because inflammation, it really makes it quite challenging to lose fat and lose weight. So the menu plans that have been put together and recipes, lots of different recipes, lots to choose from, these have all been curated by dietitians and nutritionists that really are looking at trying to lower your inflammation so that you have more success as well, losing weight, and also just for overall health and overall well-being. So this program is also about body composition. If you kind of picked up on that, that keeping your blood glucose stable will allow you to burn more fat. And so when you do that, you'll increase your lean muscle mass. So your lean muscle mass will be higher percentage and your fat percentage will go down. So more about body composition. We don't want to lose muscle. Some weight programs, if you're just looking at the scale and not other things, you could be losing fat and muscle, quite honestly. Supplementation is part of this program. All the products are plant-based, natural products and clinically studied ingredients, which is really neat. So I'll talk about a couple of those. And I know some people are very hesitant about that. Supplementation can be kind of the wild, wild west. But certainly I picked a company where their products are third-party tested. Professional athletes can take their products. And so definitely feel pretty good about this brand and program. Education is a huge part of this program. So you will learn why you are eating what you are eating and what that will do to your body. So I'm not just going to tell you what to do and what time to eat this, that, and the other. You're going to get the why behind it, because then when you're done, you have the power to make the decision, and you understand the decision implications are should you choose to eat X or Y. So it's sustainable, it's different. In fact, that is one thing, one of the clients I interviewed on my podcast, which I'll talk about tonight or in this presentation, is he had numerous different programs that he'd done and dietitians and nutritionists that he'd worked with. And it was always like, do this, do that, but never really giving the background as to the why and how that affects his blood sugar. So going through this program, he finally found something that showed him that, and he is doing so well. So we'll get into that. But the education is a big piece. So you do want to open those emails and watch the video and the bullet points that I send in the email, so that you're really taking away the full content. So kind of a crash course in, diet and nutrition. So systemic inflammation, I do want to talk about this because it is one of the best things about this program, the eating, keeping you in an anti-inflammatory way of eating. Systemic inflammation, I think more people are aware of it now. It's been linked to Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, dementia, cancers, not all cancers, but several cancers, arthritis, and increased cardiovascular diseases. So really, it is not good for us. The American diet and the way that a lot of the foods that we eat promote inflammation. So processed foods, sugar, gluten is very pro-inflammatory, and dairy, it can be pro-inflammatory. So and same with beef. So we do let you have beef, but you really have to get very lean cuts, and really organic and grass-fed beef is much better, because then that meat that you're eating, that those animals didn't eat like corn and things that are going to be more higher in glycemic and inflammation content. So that's the big push there. So it is worth to take the time to evaluate what you're eating and how it makes you feel. So the interesting thing on this program, when I first came upon it, my husband and I went through it first before I started introducing it to patients. And the interesting thing that my husband found out when he was on it, and then after 8 weeks, we'd been eating gluten-free, and he went out with some friends and had some pizza. And he was like, he couldn't believe it, but he didn't feel good. He felt lethargic. His face got a little puffy and his feet got hot and itchy. And so he thought, that's really interesting. So he waited another day and had a sandwich with some bread, right? That wasn't gluten-free. And same response happened. So he started to realize that he's gluten sensitive. So he doesn't have a full-on allergy, but he doesn't feel good. Like his stomach gets a little, and he gets swollen. So that's the inflammation, his face getting a little puffy, and his feet get hot and itchy. So he just stays away from gluten now. But he didn't know this till we went on the program. And the interesting thing is when you're eating it all the time, what I noticed about him is he was always hot. He would radiate heat, right? Like a little heater. I always tease him that he's my heater. And really what I realized is you were inflamed that whole time and you just didn't take it away long enough to then, once you introduce it, that you could pinpoint that it was the gluten. So sometimes people have had food sensitivities and they can't figure it out. Well, when you go gluten-free for 60 days and add it back in, you will know if you are sensitive to it or not. And same with dairy. We don't have people as sensitive to dairy as we do to gluten, but I did have a lady in her 70s when she added dairy back in, her face broke out in acne. And she's like, I always wondered why I had trouble with skin. And, when I am not in my adolescent years anymore, obviously. So, most people, it's mostly gluten versus dairy, but we definitely have some people that are sensitive to dairy. So, keep that in mind. Sugar, processed foods, beef, gluten, and dairy are pro-inflammatory. And so this program, people really comment when they take those things away. They start noticing how much better they feel. Their GI tract feels better, their energy feels better, their joints feel better. It's pretty amazing. So, and have my husband's story to go along with that. So it definitely, these recipes, method of eating, help to keep your blood glucose stable. Like I said, it decreases your inflammation and it does help increase your metabolism and stay in fat burning mode. So it is a fantastic program. This is Tom, who I was just referring to. He's a diabetic and he was very tired of insulin shots. He started the program, I think, weighing in at 330 pounds. And he really wanted to get down to 250. And his ultimate goal was to get off the insulin shots. Now, I didn't know if that was possible. I mean, I was honest. I was like, look, this is what this program does, but I don't know how far that will take you. And let's just see where this takes us. And within the first week, he was having to call his doctors and lessen his diabetes medications because it was getting, dangerously low situation. So certainly if you're diabetic and you're going to go on this program, you definitely have to be able to have contact pretty quickly with your medical team. And they were so happy that he was on this and doing this program. He got off all of his insulin shots. He was on 5 insulin shots a day. So his next goal is to get off, I think it's metformin. So I haven't touched base with him lately. I reached out a couple times, but he's still cruising along and doing well, living the principles of the program. And occasionally, here and there will, go off of it for this, that, or the other, but in general stays true to the program so that he keeps making progress and he never wants to have another insulin shot again. So he has a pretty high motivation of staying true to it. So it's on my podcast where I interview him and you can hear his own story. I host a podcast called Stay Healthy, South Sound, really about getting out good information to the community. I interview different providers on it, different patients on it, tips for you to stay healthy and active is the purpose. So usually clients do notice within the first couple weeks their inflammation going down and their joints feeling better. And he was one of them. I just thought this was so amazing is within the first month, he was playing 18 holes of golf and he no longer needed to take Tylenol. And he hadn't lost a ton of weight at that point. I mean, in the 3 months, he lost 38 pounds, but this is talking the first month, right? And so I think a lot of us, health providers included, and I'll put myself in there as well, we often think the weight is causing joint pain and too much load and strain. And it might to some degree, but really what this program has shown me, it's the inflammation, because that's really what has changed the most for him. He's still, he lost 38 pounds in 3 months, but here we are, a month in, and we're still at 300 pounds. That's still a lot of pressure on those knees. So just kind of take a note of that. And you'll see that's kind of what I started to notice with this program, the more and more clients that go had gone through it, I started to put that together that, yeah, everyone's telling me they feel so much better, but they haven't lost their significant weight yet. So it's the inflammation that is dropping dramatically. And that's why they feel so much better. Some of it was, some people have had headaches for years. And when they went through this, they finally figured out what they were sensitive to, whether it was the gluten or the dairy or just eating too much processed food or sugar or whatever. It's just amazing how people, everyone had almost something that they were surprised about and felt better about, more energy, more movement. So it definitely opened my eyes a bit to that. And then his A1C went down from 8 to 7.2 in 3 months. And like I said, the best news is he's able to get off his insulin. So great, great story on that. Another client I had, Margaret, she came to us for PT because she wanted to avoid back surgery. And within the first couple weeks of physical therapy, she decided, she saw our information about our wellness program and weight loss. And she just decided, I think I really want to do this, because what if I could lose some weight, I think that would take some pressure off my spine. So we proceeded down that road, and she found that within 2 to 3 weeks of on the program, she was feeling so much better. Her inflammation had dropped so much. She wasn't having as much back pain or the pain down her leg. She had a pinched nerve. And really, we had to attribute it to the drop in inflammation, because again, we hadn't lost a lot of weight yet. So she did fantastic, and she did avoid back surgery. And when she started the wellness, eating for joint health, inflammation, and for weight loss, she really was able to tolerate the physical therapy better. So we could finally start advancing her strength exercises, and she could tolerate walking and more movement, more mobility. Whereas in the first few weeks when she wasn't on this program, she was just in so much pain. Now she was, taking some medications to help with that, but really the big turning point was this program and dropping her inflammation. So yeah, but I think that was also another sign to me as a provider that if we could just get people's inflammation down by how they eat, we would have some huge wins. So she is one of those people. She loves eating this way. She had no intention to stop with the lifestyle changes and how good she felt. And she was back to walking the Nisqually Wildlife Refuge when she could hardly even, walk in her house. She was in quite a bit of pain with that sciatica pain down her leg with that pinched nerve. So anyway, that's another great client to highlight for you. This program has all the resources you need to succeed. You do need to set aside some time to learn as you go. There is a health journal that has, I think it's a PDF that you'll get and download. And each week you're reading about 5 pages of it. So roughly, I think it's 130 pages long. It has a lot of great information. So one topic, 1 week, we talk about protein. How much protein do you need? Why do you need protein? All that. Sometimes it's about healthy fats. Sometimes it's about how to have dessert successfully, how to eat out, how to, for some people, this is an important issue. They want to be able to have a drink with friends. How do you do that and not spike your blood glucose and have that then stored as fat? So we talk about how to do that more successfully, so that you don't derail your progress. So don't worry, it's not like you're never going to have dessert again. So you have all the tools you need. We have a health journal. You get a video every week and an email of the key points that you need to learn that week about why we're doing what we're doing. Lots of recipes to choose from. And the drpenroseweightloss.com just takes you to that resource of TLS, their products and their recipes, and I always remind people where to get their information. But anyway, there's tons of resources for you. This is a client, Dakota. This picture is just kind of very telling. Like you can see how inflamed and just um, on the picture on the left. And she did a 5-week just shrink a size challenge, is what we called it. And so those are her photos from just 5 weeks eating this way. So it's pretty amazing what can happen in 5 weeks. And then, you can see she lost 72 pounds from January to September. So she kept living the lifestyle. And that's, in a 9-month period, that's what she lost. So if you have a larger goal in that, in terms of weight loss, it does take steady consistency, and she did it, and is very pleased. So let's talk a little bit about the TLS supplements, right? The reason this program they've put that together is it does help people who kind of run up against a few more challenges. So people who have had poor dietary habits and eating a lot of processed foods, more of the refined carbohydrates, the pastas and the bagels and the breads, and if you've had a lot of experience with different kinds of diets and yo-yo, lost weight, gain weight, that kind of stuff, that kind of messes a little bit with some hormonal health and carbohydrate sensitivity. And then some of the supplements that TLS offers can help with metabolic or stress, our response to stress. So some of their products, there's more available should you need them, but not everybody needs all their products. And then metabolic health, just trying to help with the metabolism bit and cravings and hunger. So it does help with some of the leptin sensitivity, insulin resistance, adiponectin, just maybe some of those hormones you've heard of with weight challenges. So there's a lot that goes into weight loss, to be honest. And it's not simply just eat less and move more. Like, sorry, that is long gone. Lifestyle and dietary changes, supplements can help sometimes with those kinds of things. So let's jump into a little bit of what's included with in terms of supplements. You get a 30-day jumpstart kit with this program. And so the two big canister there is shakes. One's vanilla and one's chocolate, and they are delicious. My kids are very picky about shakes. They hate chalky shakes, very, very particular, and they love these shakes. The vanilla you can make, you can put all kinds of, flavors in it in terms of like pumpkin extract. If you like doing different kinds of fruits in there. So the vanilla gives you the most variety. The chocolate's just really yummy. and they're delicious. So the protein shakes are part of it. They have 10 grams of fiber per serving, which is very unusual. I challenge you, if you go to Super Supplements or any of those other types of supplement stores, chains, GNC, and you go and you pick up and read those labels, there isn't a single protein shake out there that has 10 grams of fiber in a serving. You have to buy a separate canister of fiber powder and add it to there. Because I went in and looked in both places because I just wanted to know. I just wanted to kind of price shop and compare product and what's in there. And sure enough, this was a better deal and it had 10 grams of fiber in it. And fiber fills you up. Most Americans don't get enough fiber. We're supposed to get 35 grams of fiber a day to prevent colon cancer. So I'm big into fiber. So the American diet in general doesn't have enough. And if you don't always have time for all the veggies, then getting those protein shakes in twice a day, mid-morning and mid-afternoon as your snack, it's great. It's really, really great. And they're very healthy. So that's a little bit on that. I'll talk more about the other stuff here in a minute. Kind of the program, how it goes. The first 7 days you're in detox. Everybody kind of goes, ooh, what's that? It really isn't bad. It's not like you're living in the bathroom. Things aren't just flushing through you or anything like that. There is a lot of water. There is a lot of produce and vegetables, especially if you have not been eating a lot of vegetables. So definitely want to cook a lot of your veggies if you're not used to having a lot of vegetables. If you did all raw, you're going to have a really hard time. It just takes harder work for your body to digest that. And you may just really feel bloated if you had all raw veggies all day. So you definitely want to have the ability to have cooked ones. Making a big pot of veggie soup is very helpful that week. That's basically what I had every day for lunch, because I just didn't have the time to prep a bunch of cut up veggies all the time. So and I send that recipe in the program. It's really tasty. It's quite good. The second phase, and the thing with detox week, there is some herbal herbal things that you're taking that kind of help cleanse out your GI tract and your liver. So you are detoxing that week. And so we don't exercise that week other than just walking and yoga. Just really trying to give your body all the energy to detox and cleaning out and kind of reset the stage. And then days 8 through 30, you are in fat burning phase and you are exercising. And I do put together exercise. I have some YouTube videos for like level 1, level 2, level 3 for core, and then an upper body and a lower body workout. And so we can go over, what your particular goals are, but I have some, general YouTube videos that people can do, or if they want to sign up for personal training in addition to this program, they can certainly do that as well. So that's kind of how that looks. And in terms of what you're eating, in case that's just a burning question, like in the morning, it's eggs or some sort of lean protein with a couple servings of veggies and water and a healthy fat. And your healthy fat can just be the olive oil that you used with cooking whatever you have for breakfast. Or if you're an on-the-go person, make some hard-boiled eggs, grab 2 hard-boiled eggs on the go with a handful of cherry tomatoes. We can get creative for the fast grab and go kind of situations. But certainly I have eggs almost every morning now, and then avocado spread on some cauliflower thins instead of bread, and some cherry tomatoes. So that's a common thing for me. And it's fairly quick in the morning. I got to get my kids off to school and off to work. So if you're used to not having breakfast in the morning, that might be more of an issue of just making that happen. And then you're having a mid-morning snack, which is veggies and fruit and water, at least in detox. And then at lunchtime, there's no protein at lunch. It's veggies and a healthy fat. So that's probably the biggest difference between phase 1 and phase 2. In phase 2, you add that protein back in at lunchtime. So sometimes we've had to adjust that for people. If their blood sugar is getting too low, we might have to add extra protein in phase 1. And then there's lunchtime, and then there's a mid-afternoon snack. Again, veggies, fruit, water, and then lunch or dinner is going to be a lean protein, veggies. And when I say veggies, I mean like 2 to 3 servings of veggies. So in the first week, you can have 2 servings of fruit, but in the days 8 through 30, you only get 1 serving of fruit. So it's a lot of vegetables. And I think that's a hard thing for people. So just a heads up on that, but it works and people feel better and you drop your inflammation and you stay in fat burning mode. And it may sound like, okay, wait, I'm having breakfast, a mid-morning snack, lunch, mid-afternoon snack, and dinner. Yes, that's how you keep your metabolism revved up and reset it and have it keep working. You can't have your blood sugar drop and go into a low blood sugar situation, because then your body wants to store things as fat. So you're trying to stabilize your blood glucose all day when you're awake. And so you don't ever feel hungry. You're kind of just doing little meals throughout the day. So if you're one of those people that's used to like going for 4 or 5 hours and then you're starving and then you eat, this is an adjustment. You're going to be eating and you need to follow the schedule so that you actually get the results that you want. So the 30-day jumpstart kit is one of the things you get. And then we also add on the trim tea. So it's not like your typical skinny tea. If you've heard of those in the past, it's not a laxative by any stretch. So I'll explain more about that. The 30-day jumpstart kit comes with your 2 protein shakes and a bottle of what's called Core, that small bottle there. the Nutrimetrics, which is kind of your daily essentials of daily vitamins in there and some antioxidants. So it's kind of a vitamin mix kit. And then the NutriClean box there is that detox kit with the herbal stuff that I was talking about that helps clean out your liver and your GI. And it has a fiber powder in there too that you're taking on that first week. So let's talk about some of the studies. This is what I love about this company is they have clinically studied their ingredients, and Lepticor is definitely, if you look up that on PubMed, you will find published studies about Lepticor and how that's helped with a variety of things. So cholesterol and triglycerides and fasting blood glucose, your serum serotonin, which is that feel-good hormone, and leptin levels, and then your C-reactive protein markers. That's an inflammatory marker. It helps with that. So a lot of great things with Lepticor. It also it talks about in this study that weight decreased by 5.4% and body fat decreased by 2.8%. And one of the best ways to measure that is you measure at the waist, right at your belly button, take a measurement every week. And if you lose 1 inch off the waist like that, that is equivalent to 1% body fat. So that's been a published data point that you can hang on to. So there's more studies on Lepticor, but it's a great thing. I take it ongoing for the cholesterol piece. I'm trying very hard not to get on a statin. So I am taking it for that reason. So it's helpful for other things. Definitely my diabetics, it does help with stabilizing blood glucose. And so they do have to be aware of how this could impact their medications need to be adjusted. But this has white kidney bean extract in it and chromium, and I'm forgetting the other, but it's all ingredients that are natural, and it's not something that's like a drug, right? It's different than taking like a pill of a pharmaceutical type situation. So very good product there that's been helpful. That's in the core bottle. And then the Trim tea, there also is a Trim Cafe. The Trim tea comes with a 30-day supply versus the Trim Cafe comes with 15, and then they're the same price, but it's more work to make the coffee one. It tastes really good. My husband and I both really like that one. So what is in it is it has a African mango seed extract in it, and then the black tea. So that there's only 2 ingredients in the tea, and then the Trim tea is the coffee bean and the same thing, the African mango seed extract. So the benefit, and so they've studied this ingredient, and they found again great help with weight loss. So it basically makes you feel like it helps with satiety. You feel full and satisfied. You're not having those urge for snacking and craving. And then it helps with weight loss, their total cholesterol, adiponectin levels go up. And adiponectin levels, that helps maintain like insulin sensitivity, which is really important. Normal blood sugar, normalized insulin. And the other thing it does, which is a mouthful, but it moderates the glycerol 3-phosphate dehydrogenase enzyme activity, which somehow interrupts interrupts the process of if we ingest too many starchy carbs, our body usually tends to store that as fat. Well, this interrupts that process, that African mango extract seed thing. So pretty interesting. The serum leptin levels go down and C-reactive protein levels go down. That's a marker for inflammation, right? 51.7%. So I kind of think this also is, it'd be interesting to do a study on being on this versus like ibuprofen, right? So it is becoming more and more published data in terms of if people would eat an anti-inflammatory diet, that's more successful than taking ibuprofen. So it is becoming, I think, more well known, but I still find that some patients are like, really? And surprised. And I think many of us would rather just take a pill if we could. This is a little more work to eat this way, but you feel so much better. So again, what will you get? Why join us? You get science-based supplements that get results. You have menu plans, recipe plans, put together by dietitians and nutritionists. You get TLS website access, a free TLS journal, like I talked about. Great shakes. You get 10 grams of protein, 10 grams of fiber in a serving. And there's a shaking and baking recipe guide, which is just fantastic because you can bake with that protein powder, and it's really, so you can bake some great muffins, some chocolate muffins, the vanilla, you can, flavor that however you want, pumpkin, whatever. You get regular feedback on your food logs in the beginning to make sure that you're on track. So the first 2 weeks, you're sending those in every day and putting comments on there, and we follow up with a phone call if we need to, or we can just text back and forth if that works better. And you have 8 weeks of online education course. You get a free fitness assessment, so we kind of know, because we want to set you up on an exercise plan as well. And so based on that assessment, we tell you if you're level 1, 2, or 3 on the videos, and just also what else to consider, what kind of workouts you're going to do. A lot of times people don't feel well enough to do the workouts until their inflammation drops. So sometimes they kind of just do gentle stuff the first couple weeks and then slowly start being able to move more and do more. So that's great. We do have a private Penrose Facebook group. And that was more active when I would do a lot of groups at one time entering the program. And now I've changed it to it's a hybrid approach where you can enter the program at any time. So it's still there and still we can let you into that and you can peruse comments and things in there. It's just not super active without a huge group, 20 people starting at one time, because that's how I used to run it. So again, just become the best version of you, feel better. This is a program that if you want your joints to feel better, lower your inflammation, stabilize your blood glucose, stay in fat burning mode, understand how to fuel your body so that you feel better and move better, this would be great. It really, I haven't had anybody that really was very, very disappointed from it or didn't feel like they didn't learn valuable information about nutrition for their body. So if you're ready to start, you can email info@penrosept.com. You can call or text as well, and then you would set up a time to have an onboarding meeting and talk about your goals and then payment, get your box for the supplements, and kind of set a date of when you're ready to start with doing it. So, all right. Thanks again. It was great to just have a moment to share about the program and the successes and the wins and what I've seen as a healthcare provider over let's see, it'll be almost 4 years that we've been offering it in the practice. So happy to help you, happy to answer more questions. So I hope that was a helpful presentation for you.